Basically, this play is about, as I previously has been mentioned, about racial integration. Now, the play is situated. There is a fictitious place within the suburbs. I mean, just outside Georgetown, Penang. We have called the place Taman Muhiba. Now, in this place, Taman Muhiba, there are 3 families living: a Malay, a Chinese, and an Indian. And initially, the play is on the first 2. The total number of scenes in the play are 8. Out of that, the first 2 scenes depicts the children. So we are showing how these children, when they are small, the Chinese, the Malay, and the Indian, how they play with each other, and afterwards, and as they are within a confined place, the children get to know each other better, and they are sort of a fondness for each other. Now, the main character in this play is a Chinese man, Mr. Wong. He is living in a big mansion within Taman Muhiba. Now, within the confines of his mansion, there is an outhouse where the household servant lives. And his name is Vishnu. Now, Vishnu is basically has to take care of the Wong mansion. And his family is living in the outhouse. Now, in the Mr. Wong's house, he has there is a Mrs. Wong and 1 child by the name of Mandy. Now, in the outhouse, where the caretaker is living, his name is Vishnu. Now, Vishnu has 3 children, and his Mrs. Vishnu's wife's name is Sonali. And they have 3 children: Raju, Shivani, and Aditya. And a stone's throw away from this Mr. Wong's mansion, there is a Malay family, which is made up of Professor Hamid and Mrs. Hamid, and they have a child, Mansoor. So initially, the play opens 15 years back, when they were all children. Mr. Wong, Vishnu, and Professor Hamid's children were still young, about 10 years old. And as the children mix around, they get fond of each other. Now, Mr. Wong is a bit skeptical about the relationship between his daughter, Mandy Wong, and Vishnu's eldest son, Raju, because he does not like the idea of interracial, they get fondness each other. But he doesn't show it much, but he doesn't like the idea. And similarly, even the Professor Hamid's son, Mansoor, is also playing around with all these small children. And so as they play around, they tend to get to know each other. Now, so once when these children are playing, there is an accident. Mr. Wong's daughter Mandy gets hurt, and so he gets an excuse to send Mandy away from these children. So he sends Mandy to study in Australia. Although his initial plan for this was much earlier, but he did not have an excuse to send her off. But now, once there was an accident there and the child got hurt badly, there was a big scar on the head. So he forced his wife to send his daughter to study in Australia. And meanwhile, Professor Hamid sends his son Mansoor to study medicine in Scotland. So After the first two scenes, the children return after about 15 years. So Mandy has completed her studies in Australia and returned as an adult, and also all the children are now adults. And Professor Hamid San Mansour has also become a qualified doctor, and he is attached to the Penang General Hospital. Now, as the time goes, since Mandy was, since small time, she had special feelings for this Raju, they continue to develop. And at the same time, Vishnu's daughter, Shivani, also has special feelings for Professor Hamid San Mansour. Those feelings also develop. And gradually, they become adults. And of course, within the drama itself, there are lots of humor. And then we'll have lots of musical numbers. And there will be this beautiful background music. And it's going to be a wholesome family entertainment. And of course, to actually see, I will not let out the final scene, because just to keep it a mystery, how the story ends. But it is going to be something quite different. There is going to be a very powerful moral message behind it also, that we must always show respect towards our elders. And even in the initial stages, even after Raju returns, Mandy returns from Australia, Mr. Wong still shows his displeasure towards Raju. But then the situation suddenly changes. What is the situation is that, of course, you'll have to come and see the play. But it is going to, the situation is going to be such that the whole story will end well, and there will be a lot of interracial integration within it. So don't forget to please come and watch Live in Taman Muhiba on 9th December at Dewan Sri Penang.